Malataire by Stephen F. Clegg. I received this one for review, and this book satisfied the read a book with yellow on the cover challenge, and this was the first book I read and finished. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy this one so much as I maybe thought I was going to, because the back of the book made it sound like it was going to be so much more mysterious and so much more exciting than it actually turned out to be. The story itself was pretty tame, pretty boring, and the dialogue was really awkward. The dialogue just didn't flow right for me, and some of the descriptions and things were very wordy and unnecessarily wordy, and it just ruined the whole flow of the story. And some of the I really had problems with some of the characters, especially Flydlice, who was supposed to be, they actually don't know where he was from, but they said they assumed he was Chinese, and the name itself, I don't want to get into it because it just really bugged me, and the way he talked, because he wrote with the accent, and the accent bugged me, and it just didn't sit so well with me, and so I'm afraid this one wasn't for me at all, really. The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This was the book I chose to read after sunset, and this one I actually really enjoyed. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be, but I still really enjoyed it, and I felt so sorry for Rachel, who is the girl on the train. She just had a lot of bad luck in her life, and she just didn't seem to be able to pick herself back up. And I really felt for her. I was really rooting for her to get to find a bit of happiness for herself, find herself a bit of something. And the whole story unravels. Basically, you have more than one person's point of view. There's more than, the chapters are from different people's perspectives, but you sort of unravel the story along with Rachel as she unravels things, her memories in her life and things that she's seen. And honestly, the only thing really that let this down for me was the ending. The ending, it just sort of fell really flat. Like, you found out who done it, and then it just sort of ended, and for me that sort of ruined the whole build up, and it just sort of fell. It just fell. So while I did really enjoy it, the ending sort of let it down for me. I chose to complete the book that is older than you challenge, as Sense and Sensibility is a good couple of 100 years older than me, so that satisfied that very well. This book, this is the final Austen novel I had left to read, and I wasn't disappointed, honestly. So the only novel by Jane Austen that I haven't liked is Emma, and it bugs me so much, but Sense and Sensibility, really enjoyed it. Most of Austen's protagonists have sisters or siblings of some point. Most of them, I know not all of them, but most of them do. But for this one, I think it focused more on that relationship between the sisters, and being a sister myself and having sisters, I sort of really connected with the characters. And honestly, reading Eleanor, like, I really connected with Eleanor, and I could see similarities between Marianne and my younger sister and their relationship, and it just really, it felt right for me, this book. I still don't love it as much as Pride and Prejudice. It's going to take a lot to beat Pride and Prejudice, but this one I did really enjoy, and that whole sister aspect. And obviously there's romance in it, and I love me a good bit of romance, which I really enjoyed. But I felt like it focused more on the sisters and their relationship, and I really enjoyed it. So Overdrive, I borrowed 2 books on Overdrive. The first one being All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This was the book that I read for the book that you discovered through YouTube, and this is one of those books that I heard so much about, but I still didn't really know what the book was about, and it wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting it to be. I didn't realise it was sort of split into two different times. Obviously it's set during the Second World War, so it's not really present, but what was happening at that moment for the characters, and then the moments leading up, the years and the months leading up to that, and it just wasn't what I was expecting, but I still enjoyed it. It was really sad. I mean, it was sad. It left an ache in my chest when I finished it, and it was just, I mean, I know I always say that I don't like happy endings for the sake of happy endings, but sometimes I just want things to work out for everyone, and when it doesn't, it makes me sad. It makes me sad. So this book made me sad, but I really enjoyed it, so I would like to eventually get my own copy for the future. Definitely something I will buy for myself. And the other book I borrowed on Overdrive was Going Solo by Roald Dahl, which is what turned out to be part 2 of his autobiography. The first one being Boy, which was his, what I'm assuming is his story from him being a boy up to him getting his first job, I think, which is where Going Solo takes off. So it follows him as he starts his first job, and then the Second World War breaks out and he joins the RAF, and it's just basically his time there and the things he's seen and the people he met. And honestly, there was no way I wasn't going to enjoy this. I love Roald Dahl's writing so much. It just makes me feel happy when I'm reading his writing, and I can't really explain my feeling, but there was no, I mean, it feels weird talking about someone's life story. This was his story, this was his life, and it read like one of his stories. It was brilliant, and I was always going to love it. I was always going to like it. So this is where I abandoned my original TBR plan for the BookTubeAthon. The plan was to read Inkheart. I mean, if I hadn't had work, I would have probably been able to sit down and just plough straight through this if I didn't do anything else, but there was no way I was going to get that finished. So I put it aside and decided instead to read manga. So I read volumes 1 and 2 of the black editions of Death Note, one before work and one after work. So these were books 6 and 7, and there's nothing I can really say about Death Note because I love Death Note. It's been such a long time since I visited this world. It's been a fair few years that I'm not going to count. So it was so nice to get back into this, and I'd forgotten how twisted light was, and it's just been such fun getting back into this, and I think I'm probably going to pick up volume 3 at some point over the next week or so. I need to get myself the rest of them, but yeah. So these were books 6 and 7 I finished, and obviously I really enjoyed them. Obviously, I love Death Note. So these were the perfect 2 books to end my BookTubeAthon reads.